This 1997 Porsche 993 should be a slam dunk, but will this dealer screw it up on Cars and Bids? Find out.
Get the word!
Guys, you know what that sound means. It means it's time for a brand new episode of Bid Nerds, your daily nerd out on the most interesting car of the day from all the automotive enthusiast auction sites. My name is John Polnik, coming to you from the Container Park in downtown Las Vegas, along with my partner Michael Deeb in the yet-to-be-named studio in San Francisco. We are so close to naming that thing. What's up, Michael Deeb?
Happy 4th of July weekend, sort of, in the aftermath. How did it go? Did you guys look out your window all night?
Well, since this episode won't come out for days and days, you just basically proved that this is just stale old stuff. But yeah, 4th of July was great. We didn't. Our building did not burn down, and the dogs are still alive.
Oh man, do you just throw Molotov cocktails into the Arts District from your balcony? Like,
I think that would be frowned upon. We were thinking about it, like getting some stuff and like shooting it off the deck or something like that. But it's funny because people in the parking lots in the hotels around us and stuff like that on the strip were shooting stuff off, and it's going off right by our window and everything like that. But we survived the war zone. Gotta love 4th of July. We got some really cool invites to go do stuff, but with the little puppies and stuff like that, we didn't want to bring them. They're not going to love it, so yeah, we just stayed home. You went out and did some fun stuff, yeah.
That's a tough weekend for the doggies. We took the dogs, and Esther and her family go camping up in the Sierras every year, and I have I've sidestepped that for like I don't know however long we've been hanging out, 9-10 years now. So anyways, I finally acquiesced and we went up camping in the mountains, and I slept in a tent, and I'm exhausted. It's not relaxing like to me at all. Like I just don't understand it. Like let's live like homeless people for a weekend. It'll be great by the mountains. I'm like,
you don't glamp, you don't bring all the stuff in the tent and the cots and all the, the things like that. You just like on the ground.
We borrowed the air mattress. We borrowed the tent. We borrowed the sleeping bag. I have a sleeping bag. I own a sleeping bag. It's in a warehouse in Boulder City. So nice. That was useless. You know what I mean? So we borrowed everything. I am not the camping guy. Soft hands. I don't own a hatchet. Like, come on, man.
Well, yeah, it's been a lot of years since the Boy Scouts. So I do like camping, but I haven't done it in a long time. So maybe I won't the next time I go. All right. Well, today's car is definitely not a car that you would go camping in. What we do on the show, if you're new to the channel, we find the most interesting car from all the auction sites, and then we have a conversation about that car as to what makes it the most interesting car. We discuss all those things, and then we make a prediction as to what we think will happen with that car's auction results. And then we reconcile our poor predictions with the actual results at the end of this episode. So stick around to the end. We actually go into the future, and you can see what happened with this car that we're going to get to. But just before we do that, shout out to Godden Classic of Las Vegas, Godden Porsche. They support us, and we love to say hello and support them. They're awesome over there. Go check out Godden Porsche and Gun Classic of Las Vegas. All right, Michael Deeb, what is today's most interesting car of the day?
Well, check it out, JP. On Cars and Bids, Doug DeMuro has sourced for us a 1997 Porsche 911 Carrera Coupe with just 69,000 miles in Grand Rapids, Michigan. The selling dealer says that the car was traded into them, and then they handed the keys to this kid that works for them to make a video on the car, JP, and it is hilarious. Within the first minute of him speaking, as he pulls out of the warehouse and onto the street, he calls the 1997 993 Carrera a 1987 991, and we're going to drive it and see how she goes. That's what he says. And this kid doesn't look like he holds a driver's license. That's how young he is, and he's got earbuds in. Whoever this video is made by, it's terrible. And then, so somebody calls them out on it in the comments, and they said, "Oh, just keep watching the video. We put an edit at the end." I'm like, it's still the banner on the video that's on Cars and Bids calls it a 1987 Porsche Carrera. So then I even had to look, and I'm like, oh, did somebody modify this car? And I'm like, no, it is a real 993. I'm like, this is idiocracy. Then I was thinking that maybe they might be consigning this car for somebody, but they state that the car was traded into them and it's their car. I just don't understand how you publish a video that's that far off. I just think that is wholeheartedly unprofessional. Not only would I not want to do business with them, really, because they don't know what they're doing or they don't care enough to fix the mistakes they make. But I think that it sets a precedence that, like, we're incompetent. Like, I don't understand how anybody would want to do business with them in the future, not only on this car, but in cars in the future. Marketing matters. Like, your reputation and your brand matter. Every moment that you're public facing, you're representing your brand. And I didn't mean to come down off the mountains and get right up onto my high horse, but JP, I'm easygoing compared to you. This offends me on a way I can't even begin to describe. I just think
let's look at this video because I want to see what you're talking about. I didn't see this before we talked about it.
There's two videos at the bottom, and you got to go to the 50-second mark of the first video on the left, and then,
you gotta go to the 50-second mark. All right, let's see if I can do that.
Tanner here at the GR Auto Gallery.
Oh my gosh, that kid is 14.
How's it going, everyone? Tanner here at the GR Auto Gallery, and I'm pleased to present this 1987 Porsche Carrera 991.
Oh my God.
We're gonna take it for a little test drive here, see how she goes up and down the road.
Stop, cut,
sure
cut.
That's it. Things we need.
That's it. And again, the bumper on that video says 1987 Carrera 993, which leads you to believe that it's not a real car, but somebody took the panels and made one. Who are you, GR Auto Gallery? What are you doing? You are in Michigan, the home of automobiles in the United States, and you got Tanner here with his, like, I'm so cool and I'm driving this car.
Someone's nephew, right?
Yeah, it's just and they published this on Doug DeMuro's thing, which means you're going to get, what do we say, like close to several thousand views, about 1,000 watchers and 10,000 viewers, and you only get one opportunity to make a first impression. My first impression of GR Auto Gallery is dismal, and so again, I don't know that it will prevent this car from selling for a retail number. It still looks like it's a beautiful car. They said they corrected the error, but I'm telling you, you haven't. Your bumper's wrong. The kid is calling the car the wrong thing within the first 60 seconds of your video. That is terrible. And I'm not the producer. He is. That guy right there.
It's an unforced error. It's so stupid. You're absolutely so right. It's so easy to just go in there and, I mean, you can change the name of a video after it's published. You can go in, you can't edit the video. Like, you can't go in and change the video, but you can add annotations. You could add a graphic that when he says that, you could have a correction bar across the bottom or something like that. Own the mistake. Say, hey, we're silly. Oops, dumb mistake, but, here's what it actually is, whatever. A little of that can go a long way, in transparency, admitting your mistakes. But just going along and just trying to gaslight everyone, that's just ridiculous. That's pretty embarrassing. Good pickup.
Yeah. So anyways, all that's to say is when you look at their main photo, I recognize their ad with the American flag in the warehouse with all the other cars in their inventory in the background. I've seen these guys before. The video aside, what we have here is a low mile, unmolested, very stock, attractive colorway, low option C2, and it's a really nice car. And I'm telling you, JP, the more I fight with my busted up 915 gearbox and I have tired suspension with leaky shocks, I keep thinking maybe I'll make a stupid decision and sell my 84 Carrera and just get a 964, which I can't afford because they're over 100 grand, or a 993 C2 that's not a wide body, and it's probably a car I can afford and would solve all these problems. So this car is really attractive to me as I struggle with my G body and think about how much money I might have to throw at it so that it's safe and reliable and close to the way I want it, or just forego all that stuff and pick up a nice car like this. This car, I'm telling you, man, JP, you could do a lot worse than this car right here. So I like this car. I like the interior. I love the idea of a 6-speed. This doesn't have limited slip. It doesn't have fancy exhaust. It doesn't have motor sound package or the fancy stereo or even the sports seats. And I still like this car. So do we think Doug DeMuro is going to sell it for a retail value? I kind of think that these cars are starting to find their way to Cars and Bids. A car like this was always only home on Bring a Trailer, but here it is on Cars and Bids, and I think it could do well. So I send it back to you, JP. What do you like about this car, and what do you think its chances are on Cars and Bids? This is a car that has made, the air-cooled 911s have made a living on BAT. Do we think Doug DeMuro could sell one for a retail number?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Doug DeMuro has definitely upped his game. It's time I think Porsche fans know that there's cars available on there. And I think that Doug DeMuro, the benefit of being on Doug DeMuro is that the eyeballs that come to this site are being diluted less than they are in BAT. Yes, more people go to BAT, but there's 5 to 10x more cars on BAT. So those eyeballs, you got to have 5 to 10x more eyeballs, in order to see and consume all those cars. I think that a lot of people are putting, Doug DeMuro's site on their list of sites to go look at when they're searching for something cool. And, I think the numbers are reflecting that. Will it bring as much money as it would maybe on BAT? I don't know. I think the bigger problems are the problems that you mentioned. But this is really a nice car. And as far as it going, what will it go for? And could you afford to get one for the price of your 491? I mean, heck yeah. I think the value of your 491, you could sell and probably have money left over to get a 993. A 964, you could probably get a regular 964 as well. I don't see. It seems like the numbers are about the same. What do you think this car is going to go for? Let's get to that number.
All right, so John, let's see. So this car closes really soon, and what we're looking at is about $51,000 on 8 bids. I think the retail number on this car is somewhere between $85,000 and $90,000. I do think there might still be a small concession to that value on Cars and Bids. So I'm going to go $82,000 and say that it sells in the next few hours as we're recording. So go ahead, JP. Give me your number? What do you think is going to happen here on Cars and Bids?
You said 82,000.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's a solid number. Will it break 80? 993s have been, your numbers are spot on. It's really, does somebody want a blue one? Does someone care about this dippy kid? What's that?
Black. It's black.
Is this car black? Is it really?
Yeah, it better be. I think it's black.
I don't know. I gotta go back and look at it. It doesn't look.
It says it's black. Yeah, it's black.
Me.
Yeah, it's black with cashmere interior. Just so we know, I picked black air-cooled cars just to rub them in your face, make you buy and sell all the time. So I can live vicariously through your wallet.
There's that picture of the, I guess it is, look, that doesn't look black. That looks like it's got some green or blue
Atlas
to
gray.
it.
Yeah.
Atlas gray. That picture looks blackish. There's a picture where he put there's like a split in the paint on the plastic bumper, and he has the ruler in front of it. Where did that go? Let's see if we can find that. Oh, there it is. I mean, that just maybe it's the blue in the reflection or something that threw me off. But yeah, okay, I guess it's black. Yeah, all right. You said 82. I'll go 85. I'll say it brings the 85. It's a great color combo. I think black is definitely, obviously I'm a big fan of the black air-cooled 911s. And Deeb, I think this would be the perfect car for San Francisco. I really do.
Absolutely.
Just make a couple of mods. Some, what was it? The Ren Fab Speed Super Cups off the Cat, so you can keep it smoggable, and it'll still sound great. You'll lose about 40 pounds out of the back, swap out some seats, put some coilovers on it, and change the wheels, and you're good to go. All right, what do you guys think? What will be the results of this little black 993 driven by some TikToker wannabe? Let's find out. We will do that right after this. Hey guys, I gotta tell you about our friends Godin Porsche of Las Vegas and Godin Classic. If you're looking for a new Porsche or a classic, you gotta call our friend Steve at Godin. Save yourself the hassle of screwing around with all the auctions like we always talk about, and just talk to Steve. He'll find you the classic Porsche you're looking for. Gun Porsche of Las Vegas. All right, guys, welcome back to the future. Here we are ready to find out the results on this 97993 that I thought was blue. I still think kind of like my shirt today. You know, it's such a dark blue that it looks black, but this car is just, it's kind of a light black, so it looks blue. Is that a thing? It's like Superman's hair.
It does. Oh, you went all, what is that? Ben-Day dots on us, you know?
Yeah, right. Back in the day when they, yeah. Anyways, no, I look. All right, yeah. Let's just get to it. What happened with the 97?
All right, JP. Somebody entrusted Doug DeMuro to sell their air-cooled 911. Air-cooleds have, only really truly found a home on Bring a Trailer. So I thought this was interesting that we have a no-nonsense, straight-up, straightforward 993 C2. A 1997 car. I thought we would juxtapose it against the 95 we looked at the week before. I'm just kind of feeling 993s right now because 964s are sort of priced out of the market. They're just so expensive. So as Doug DeMuro had one, I thought, okay, maybe this is a place where you could pick one up for a song. Maybe this will come in just a little lower. And I really wanted to watch this one because if I'm going to be in the market for a 993 and they're selling on Cars and Bids for a slight discount, that's where I will go to get mine when the time is right. So with all that in mind, JP, you and I looked at this car and I came in a little bearish, I should say, at $82,000. You came in a little higher at $85,000. Our car bid to $81,000 where it failed to sell on 43 bids. Now, 43 bids is a lot of action. However, it didn't find a home at the $81,000. So as you and I look back at our bids, my 82 is not just representative of the car, but it's representative of the platform. I still think these are $90,000 cars. Are we assuming that this car missed by like $9,000? Or at $85,000, were you betting against the platform, or do you just think that that's what a 97 C2 is worth? So tell me about your bid in relation to the result.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised it didn't sell at that. I mean, I don't think it would get that much more on BAT, honestly.
Really? Okay.
I mean, it's a nice car, but it's black on tan. The ones that are bringing big money right now are cars that have crazy colors. We talk about that all the time. And This color, the black the car just isn't really nice. It's just nice. It's a great car. Don't get me wrong. I would love to own it, but I feel like, where would the reserve on this car have been? Like 85 maybe? I wouldn't, if I were Cars and Bids, I wouldn't let them have a reserve any lower than 85. And at that point, you're kind of like, you're covering the spread. Come to Jesus, man. If that's the case, if you're the seller of this car, lower the darn reserve and just get it gone. I mean, this is a dealer that was selling this car. It wasn't an actual person. Wasn't this the one that had the child driving it so there you go. I mean, I think presentation here was ruined from the get-go. The photos were not very good. There were, some kind of unforced errors here. There were those kind of scratches, pretty bad. The whole nose, or at least the bumper cover, needs a respray if you want to get that premium price. But I mean, for a driver quality 993 with decent miles, I don't think this car has had a top end reseal yet, which is something that at 70,000 miles, that's going to be coming up pretty soon. So you're going to be looking at $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 worth of service. Plus, we talked about that dreaded SAI on a 997. That's going to be something that's going to be the sword of Damocles over your head. It is a car.
The sword of Damocles.
I love dropping the sword. I love dropping Damocles, man. That's my favorite. But I mean, let's face it. You're driving a 993. What one of these 96 to 98s, that's always over your head. It's not as bad and gnarly as that sword when you get like a 996 with an IMS you're always scared about. That is a destructive sword. I think this little sword is more like a little, like maybe it's a letter opener. It's the letter opener of Damocles. It'll come down on your head, give you a little mark on your forehead, and but it won't kill you.
Man, it's already starting to feel like it's the beginning of the week again.
Yeah, yeah, gotta love Monday.
Polnik is dropping the sword of Damocles on the first car.
I've dropped a sword before. Come on, that's like one of my favorite go-tos.
I know, but I just can't believe you dropped it on this one. All right, JP, I've got an aesthetic question. Again, we're. This is a great time to talk about presentation. So, John, when you're looking at your computer, go to the very first shot, the big hero shot with the American flag on Cars and Bids.
All right.
And in front of, if you could just pull that up, can you move that within our little window frame there, or make it go full screen? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you look just at go back, pull out. On the floor, you see the pink tape there, that little wedge of pink tape. So they draw a corner on the floor.
Yeah.
And obviously they stage all their cars there to shoot them with the American flag and their inventory in the background. Do you take umbrage with the tape on the floor? Does that look bush league to you, or are you okay with that?
I mean, it's funny that you mention it, because in the filmmaking world, when we make commercials or whenever we're doing the blocking or staging, right? Yeah. That's basically where the people go when they're doing their action while they're saying their lines or dialogue or whatever. Yeah. It's not uncommon for us to use gaff tape on the ground, but you never see that, right?
On stage, you don't see it because your audience is sitting at stage level. They can't see what's on the floor.
Right. That's if it's a stage, but on film, you're shooting above it or whatever. And if you're going to be shooting down, you definitely are going to remove that box. It makes sense from a functional point of view because, all right, this is the spot, but bright red, maybe I would have chose black or something like that, or something a little bit more subtle than. Yeah, it does. I mean, it just seems like something that 15-year-old that they had doing the test drive came up with. Because he saw it on a YouTube video. Oh, have a marker so you can see, put it all in the same spot. It's a good idea so they don't screw up the spot all the time. But this seller just doesn't know what the hell they're doing. I mean, look at some of the other cars in the background. They've got Mustangs and they've got a Pontiac Solstice. I mean, who has that in their inventory? Who says, we can make money on that thing? I mean, you see it in the background. You see the Pontiac Solstice. What the heck? Who the hell buys one of those for their inventory? You got problems. If that's the car that you're getting there.
Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Grand Rapids, Michigan. I mean, look, if this car were in a dealership in San Francisco or LA or something like that, or even New York or whatever, I think they get more than that money, than what it got bid to. Because someone would come along, but it's funny, our friend Chef bought that 930 Turbo ROW car a few months ago, and he was shopping around. He really wanted a 930 Turbo, and he found one somewhere in the Midwest, and it was at this dealership that looked almost identical to this. It's like, I'm wondering if it's the same damn dealership. But it was the kind of thing where that dealership was at least 45 minutes from the nearest airport, and it wasn't a major airport. So you would have to fly to Minneapolis and then take a puddle jumper to whatever Kansas City this was or whatever, right? And there were no Porsche special dealership. There was no Porsche dealership. The nearest Porsche dealership was an hour away. And I don't think that dealership was doing PPIs. A lot of dealerships don't want to do PPIs.
No, so then they don't at all.
Yeah. So then you got to find a Porsche specialist, which there wasn't one within an hour of the place. So he's trying to get a PPI done, and they're like, no. He's like, well, okay, what if he was literally figuring out how to bring his mechanic, fly him to Kansas, and then to drive all the way out to this place, have his mechanic look at the car, and then go back. And so he's trying to coordinate all this with the dealer, and the dealer's like, no, we're not open on Sundays or whatever, and they wouldn't open it up for him, or some stupid. It's like, dude, this guy is trying to give you their money, and they just won't do it. I bet that car is still for sale. I feel like this is the same kind of dealership. They just don't know what the hell they're doing. How were they on the comments? Did they interact with people as the bids were going on? That's another thing that you got to wonder. Was it the same 15-year-old kid that's like, oh yeah, we topped off the blinker fluid, or yeah, it's you know.
They were proactive in uploading a bunch more photos of paint, paint meter shots. So that was the early stuff, and then it was just a bunch of there literally wasn't a lot of dialogue back and forth. So it's almost like no wonder this car didn't sell. Nobody was really asking questions about it. So it bid up conservatively to 81,000. I still think
here's something. I'm sorry to interject.
Yeah, go ahead.
Deeb, but I think this just goes to like, I want to lean on that. How did the seller interact? Here is an example. Someone asks, any leak down test done recently that I'm somehow missing? And the seller responds, no leak down test performed. You know what? That's fine. Perfect. Transparent. Okay. But then he follows up with, very rare for these to have compression issues. F you, dude.
Yeah.
That is just such a checked jacket car sales puke thing to say. It's like, don't try to overcome the objection with something like that. That's like, oh my God, that just makes me want to wring this skinny little child. I'm sure it's the same kid. I mean, that is just such a car salesman thing. And would you ever respond like that to a question like that? It's like, no, it hasn't been done. If someone would like to have that, arrange that done, I can make the car available for someone to do it.
No,
it's basically like saying your question is stupid, idiot.
Yeah,
that was a dumb question. What's wrong with you?
It's patronizing, and it's that's the wrong position for the dealer to take, especially on a public forum, because you're not even just these guys. This is the thing with P-Car Market. You shed light on this, is that
this is cars and bids. Just
I know,
to be clear,
you're
bringing up P-Car Market. Yep,
the guys on P-Car Market, as they're all a bunch of old car dealership guys, they're used to talking down to people while they're behind closed doors in an office or a sales office or even just on the showroom floor. And what they've done is they've taken that same attitude and that vernacular and they've publicized it on their website, which is P-Car Market, their auction site. And now
hold on, Deep. Can I that's a very good point. I want you to continue. But I also want you to clarify something that you just said. They're used to doing these things behind closed doors, as in, when you say that, that makes it sound like by themselves. You mean what, or do you mean that they're used to treating people this way when they're on their dealership floor or in a little room? They have a customer in a room. It's a salesperson and the couple, and they've got the Foursquare thing.
Put you in a cubicle or on a high top table on the showroom floor, but more than likely you're going to be in a salesman's office or you're going to be in the sales manager's office, and the salesperson's going to stand there and not say a word, and then the sales manager, the closer, is going to try and drill you. And every time you come up with an objection, he's going to belittle you and make you feel like your objection was a stupid question. And that's what's going on here.
Yeah.
Now,
it's like a passive aggressive type of thing, right?
Yeah.
It's not. He doesn't say you're stupid for asking that question. It's that never happens.
Yeah.
No, it hasn't been done. We're being transparent, but that never happens.
Yeah.
That's not a problem.
And I want to clarify that this, it's not representative of cars and bids. It's representative of the consignor and how they're treating the people who are commenting and bidding on their inventory on cars and bids thing. But P-Car Market does this. P-Car Market steps in and talks to their clients this way, and they've done it publicly, which is unforgivable. It's asinine. I talk about chewing off your nose to spite your face. It's just unbelievable. So the way that this consignor has treated their potential buyers, it's no wonder this car didn't sell. It's something that we see P-Car Market do with both their consignors and their bidders, which is just mind-boggling that they would do that. But these guys can't help it. This is how they've grown accustomed to making a living, by talking to customers in this way. In their mind, it's their job to put the customer in his place. And that's not how you do business anymore. It's not why these online auction platforms are successful. They're successful because of the transparency, because of the comments where people can chime in and say, if somebody else had come on and just said, hey, just so you know, it's not really typical for 993s to have compression issues. You'd say, oh, thanks for the tip. friend. But when the dealer says it's you just like, you can't do that. Like, it's just, I don't know how to explain it. It's so wrong. It's so wrong. So I'm glad you found that one.
Patronizing and condescending, I guess that's redundant, passive aggressive, all those things that people hate about car dealerships now in the online auction forum, which is the whole reason that we go to these forums. That's why to avoid all that crap. Which I think is a good segue to our good friends at Godden Porsche and Godden Classic of Las Vegas. They don't pull this crap. So if you want to avoid that, but you do need because sometimes you need the help of a dealership to buy something like this, right? You have a trade-in, you need financing. You're not necessarily an expert on all these things. You just want to buy a classic car that's really cool from someone you trust. We vouch for our good friends at Godden Classic and Godden Las Vegas.
And so does Porsche of Germany. Not Porsche Cars North America, Porsche of Germany. Of 190 Porsche dealerships in the United States, only about a dozen are Porsche Classic partners. Godden Porsche was the very first one, and exclusively for like a year they were the only one. They are the poster child, and it's because of the expertise, because of the integrity, because of the passion. Call Godden Porsche, tell them the Bid Nerd sent you.
They're awesome. They support the show. They also support Cars Un Cafe at the end of the month, last Sunday of every month in Las Vegas. And now the inaugural Cars Un Cafe will be the last Sunday of the month in San Francisco.
Yes.
Deeb, you excited about that?
Absolutely. Come out and join us. 350 Industrial Way in Brisbane, California. We'll get started about 8 in the morning. And it's entirely possible that some nerds from Vegas will be there to help celebrate liftoff. So please come and check us out. It'll be really fun. Cool cars, cool backdrop. And we'll have some cars, we'll have some donuts, and we'll have some cafes.
This hat's for you.
Oh, sweet. Can't wait.
All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you tomorrow with the most interesting car of the day from all the automotive enthusiast auction sites. This is Bid Nerds. Bye. Oh yeah, you know what? I got to tee up the end thing. I don't even know how to do this.
Get the word!